Hey everyone, I am Yvette Lloyd, host of Life Her podcast. Thank you for tuning in tonight. We have Tisha Winkler here with us tonight, and she's going to share her personal testimony. Hey Tisha, how are you?
I'm good evening. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. So we just gonna get started
Yeah.
and get to it. I do want to send you condolences. Even though losing your mother 5 years ago is still like you lost her today.
Oh yes, every
So
day.
yes. So I already know how that feeling is on a personal side. So my condolences to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, first I want to know about you and you podcasting and everything. I've seen all your credentials, all the amazing awards you received, everything. So tell me a little bit more about it.
Yes, my name is Tisha Winkler. I actually started podcasting 2 years ago, and actually it was by mistake. But it was a mistake by God. But I wasn't thinking about doing podcasting. Me and my publisher at the time, we used to work in the Head Start program. And during that time, she was a teacher, and I was an assistant teacher. And during that time, she was an author. So she was writing books, but she started publishing books. And she published my first book during the first pandemic. So
Okay.
when we, yes.
Wow. So what's one of the first books that you published?
My first book that I published is called Just a Thought, and it's a poetry book about betrayal. It's actually about when I was going through like my teenage years, even my like when I went through my 20s. And it's actually telling the audience about the struggles I went through as a adolescent, even in my early 20s.
Wow. So I know you wrote what, two other books, didn't you?
Yes, I have another poetry book. Is my first poetry book is by Barbie N. Johnson. I'll be trying to mention her name. That was my first publisher. My second book is called The Hopeful Romantic, and it's also a poetry book, but it's like a flip. It's giving people hope, even myself, that you can heal and have healthy romantic relationships. So that's
Okay.
also a poetry book. And I have a third book. My second and third book is by Kelly Cruz, and it's my life story. My journey here was not easy.
Oh wow. That is amazing. So to take it back into one of your books that's more like personal to you, what was it like growing up?
Actually, I try to be very transparent. Even I grew up in Baltimore City all my life. I had a loving, wonderful family. I'm so blessed. I had a loving, wonderful family. But just like any family that we go through, sometimes we go through challenges in those years of experience. My mother and father divorced when I was 9 years old, so that really was like a trauma in my life during that time. And I really think I went through a lot of traumatic things in my life because my father, when they got divorced, he got remarried and he didn't tell me about it. So I had to find out through like a family member. So I really thought that brought on a lot of my depression.
Oh wow. I know you were saying for like 20 years plus, even now, you suffer
Yeah.
from depression. What are some of the things of and thoughts that you have for you to get into depression, and what do you do to try to keep going?
I will admit, and I need to be honest, sometimes it's a fight getting up in the morning, sometimes. But I know with the help of the Lord, He helps me. And some days I just have to listen to some upbeat songs. I had to might go back to my book and read a poem to myself just to get some encouragement.
Right. Right.
Yes.
So what puts you in that mindset though for you to start feeling it, especially from suffering it for so many years?
Oh, can you repeat that question?
What type of mindset do you have when you start feeling depressed because you've been dealing with it for so many years? What keeps putting you in and out of it?
I guess a lot of things that I go through in life, just like anyone else. I've been through broken relationships, being traumatized. going through, I just went through one like 2 weeks ago. I went through a lot of heartbreak. So I was like, Lord, help me. Because people look at you and they feel inspired by you, but sometimes I need some inspiration.
Oh man, tell me about it. We gotta always find ways to keep going, and I'm happy
Yeah.
that even though like so many years that you suffer from depression, you still find ways to keep going. That is just rare sometimes. Some people don't even make it throughout that.
Yes. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of I have counseling. I have a counseling session that I go to every 2 weeks, and I'm very. I always try to encourage others. If you need a counselor, just receive it. Don't be ashamed to get it.
Mm-hmm. That is
Yes.
true. So I see that you worked in Head Start over the years. Was it 15 years?
Actually, 16.
Oh wow. So how do you like working in Head Start?
I'm actually I stopped working in Head Start in May because I needed something different. Now I'm working with teenagers with disabilities, but I really enjoyed working with the preschools. I work with ages 3 to 5 with my teachers. I've been assistant teacher all these years, and I'm almost finished my degree.
Oh
But I love
wow.
children. I love families. I love supporting the families. And it just brought so much joy to my life over the 16 years, seeing the children grow. And I still see them now. Some of the children might be even like 20 years old now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That is amazing. So with you working with children and everything, how do you juggle that in even just podcasting like that?
Well, actually, I took a pause right now with the podcast, and I'm getting ready to start again with my publisher. We're going on our own to do our own thing for our own podcasting. I was on a network with the Coyote Man Show Network, but now
Okay.
we're coming out and doing our own thing. And I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I juggle a lot. Sometimes I don't even get enough sleep.
Oh my god.
And I might be up 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, sharing things. People send me things. I'm looking at things. I'm signing things, getting things ready for work. And then sometimes I thank God right now that I don't have a husband.
That's something, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. So, what are some of the things that you see in today's society that you feel as though it make a difference? Because I see you're into the community, and you also, you work with children and everything. What are some of the difficulties that you noticed and just different from you from your upbringing until now?
Actually, I will admit I've been in Baltimore City all my life, and when I was growing up, I mean, I'm not trying to tell my age. I'm 48 years old. We had recreation centers. We had vacation Bible school. I mean, during the summertime, I'm like, I thought my mother just put me in daycare all day long since I was like about 13, 14. I mean, she always kept me busy, but I see now that the young people now, even in my community, they don't have the same experience that we went through.
Yeah.
The recreation centers, they're not there like they used to be. The vacation Bible school and churches, you really can't find too many more like you used to back in our time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really difficult now. Even just being surrounded by authentic people,
Yeah,
even coming from churches or even the community itself, it seems everybody has their own personal gain more than actually making the difference.
yes.
Yeah, so it's a lot that's going on. So what are some of the things that you have going on and coming up?
Right now, I'm working on my new podcast. It's going to be same name, Book Breakers. We're working on starting our new podcast. I'm working on two children books.
Oh
And
wow.
yes, and I'm working on an extension to my last book. My journey here was not easy because I'm going to have like different. I want to have different volumes to that story. And I'm also working on a book called Deception.
Okay. So what
Yeah.
inspired you to become an author? Because you have written a lot of books and you have a lot more coming up.
Ooh, well, actually, if you met any of my friends, even growing up, they said when I was like about 12 years old, I used to buy like blank little cards and I would put like little phrases in their card. So it's actually been in me a long time. My mother, I had to really thank God for my mom. She always took me to the bookstore. She would take me to the bookstore like every month to buy books. And
Aw.
I did, and it had, actually, I just looked through the book. I always like to look to the back of the book. I wanted to find out what happened to the story.
Wow.
So that really inspired me. Even when I was in high school, I did very well in English, but I didn't do too good in my grammar. I didn't do too good.
Wow, because you've written so many books. What is some advice that you could tell someone that is trying to write a book and how to get it out there and get it published and everything?
I would actually tell someone who wants to start a book. I actually like to be very transparent with people because when I was in college, I failed English 3 times.
Wow.
I failed English 3 times with a F. Then the fourth time I made a B. So I would like to actually tell people don't give up on your dreams. If you think you have some writing skills, just start writing. Start journaling. Get your thoughts down on the paper because everyone has their own style of writing. My style of writing,
Mhm.
I have to write things down in my journal. I have so many books in the house, but I had to make time. Sometimes I had to sit down like 2 or 3 hours in a quiet room. I had like music in the background, but everyone has their own style. And if you want to like self-publish your book, there's a lot of things that you can do now. But I never self-published my books. I always had a publisher because I need help with the editing and formatting.
Okay.
I need help.
Do you find it difficult sometimes to even just that's a lot of thinking, you being creative and still, just hoping somebody will end up just grasping to it the way you want them to. Do you find it difficult sometimes?
Yes, I do find it difficult sometimes because even though I have 3 books, I've been trying to get my book in the library. I'm like, what's going on? I had 3 books, but I just learned how to be patient, and good things come to those who wait.
Yeah,
And
that's
I just
true.
keep on writing. I just keep on. I mean, I write. I do write every day, like little phrases, not like I used to, but I have to have a per in my mind when I don't write all the time, but when it's time for me to write, I can write. I could actually write a book in 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing. So, I see that you do poetry.
Yes, I do poetry.
Do you have any poetry that you could share with us off the dome?
Yes, I can. And
Oh,
that's one thing I want to do too. I want to actually start memorizing my poems. I'm not to that
okay.
level yet, though.
Okay.
I'm getting there, though.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yes, I have a poem from my first book called Just a Thought,
Okay. Oh
and
wow.
yes, it's called Just a Thought. Actually, this came out. Well, it came out 3 months after my mom passed away.
Okay.
Yes. And the poem I'm going to read is called, I went to it again, so it must be time for me to read it again. It's called
Mhm.
Flowers of Love. The flowers are going to bloom swiftly. They are moving side to side. They are beautiful to look upon as they are growing in the sun. Are these flowers as sweet as you are? This flower is original by far, handpicked by God. You are a creation of His beauty, can't you see? These flowers are for you. Take them because you are growing too. You are a creation of God's love. What can we do but sing out His name from up above? How can we make the world a better place and ensure happiness for the human race? Do we smile with expressions on our face, or do we give love to show His mercy and His grace? I know what you may be thinking. This is not an easy thing to do, but we must love everybody, and it starts with you.
Wow, that's amazing. I know, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. We do need to start loving, and it starts with ourselves. And
Yeah.
it's hard for people to even just have that mindset of loving on themselves first because we so used to putting people before us.
Yes.
Yes. So how did that poem come about?
You want? I knew you were going to ask that one. Actually, at my old church, I was liking this minister, so I wrote a. Actually, most of these poems in this book might be about him. I'm letting
Ooh,
a secret out. Woo!
ooh.
Don't tell nobody.
Ooh, let me find out. Because I was gonna ask you because you say you're a hopeful romantic.
Yeah, I'm a hoe for romantic.
So get all up into that. How are you a hopeful romantic?
I'm hopeful. I mean, just like some women out there, I've been waiting for my Boaz, my king, but like you said, we have to. We sometimes we fall down, we have to get back up. But I'm not going to give up. I know that God's going to send me that one man that's just for me. So I'm very hopeful and I'm very romantic.
So, like, have you been dating or anything?
Actually, I have not dated in 10 years. Isn't that sad?
Really?
I mean, I've been out with somebody like within a year, but it didn't really go that far. Yeah, it's sad, ain't it?
No,
It's
that's
gonna
not
get it's gonna get
sad.
better.
That's not sad. What's so crazy? You're not the only woman that have that experienced this because I mean, as far as what they say, dating in 2023 is ghetto. That's what they say.
Get out.
Yeah, they say it's ghetto out here. But I know don't I'm glad that you're not giving up on it and you know it's always there and it will be there and it will come.
Yeah, I'm
It
not
will
giving up. I do
nah.
have a couple of Myers though.
Well you better go ahead and put yourself out there.
Hi.
No, you gotta go to him and talk to
I know.
him. So that does that will make you nervous?
For me, was it
Yeah.
today? No, actually, I'm not. I'm actually talking to a new man now. So I'm just trying
Okay.
to get to know him. I don't want to. I don't care if people know my business. I don't care, but I'm just taking my time.
That's good. You're supposed to take your time.
Yeah.
You're supposed to take your time because sometimes you gotta wait on the person to change because it be all good in the beginning, don't it?
Oh, they. Most of the time they had their representative when they first meet you.
Yeah, yeah. Be trying to sweep on your feet, girl.
Yes, I've been there. You just don't know.
Yes. So let's rewind back to your podcast. So what are some of the things that you guys talk about on there?
Well, actually, when I was on the Coyote Man Show Network, I was on the Book Breakers podcast with my publisher, Barbie Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, we interview guests that were authors, publishers, people from the community, advocates. Actually, we interview everybody. We really didn't care. I know it's called the Book Breakers, but we touch base on a little bit of everything.
That's
So
nice.
the second, yeah, so we was together for like a year when we was on there. So the second podcast I was on, I was a co-host with Robert Rolock Jr. and he was a pastor, and we actually interview mostly people with traumatic problems, depression, and mostly mostly people that's suffering with depression. So it was like a little different from the book breakers. It was like more serious because on the book breakers we used to laugh a lot. So when I was on like what a difference a day make podcast, it was more serious, trying to help people with like going through trauma. So
Mm-hmm.
my last podcast I was on was Save the Youth podcast, and I was on there with the Save the Youth podcast and the Chemo Tap Youth Foundation, and I was
Mm-hmm.
on there with Little Coyote and Deja, and we interviewed different teens, different people, adolescents, and just different people in the community, just to uplift the youth in Baltimore City.
Oh wow. That's amazing. So how was it? How's the youth and the environment and everything in Baltimore City?
The youth, I mean, just like any other city, the youth, they are coming a long way. But we suffered with a lot of challenges with the youth. trying to keep the youth busy, trying to keep a lot of positive role models in their life. So
Right.
I just want to be in the community. If I can just help one person, I know that I have made a difference.
Mm-hmm. That is that is the truth.
Mhm.
So, how can anyone purchase your book?
Yes, my first book, Just a Thought. Actually, it's not on Amazon. I always like buy copies of that one. But my second book, The Hopeful Romantic, and my other book, My Journey Here Was Not Easy, are both on Amazon.com. Tisha Winkler. The book and ebooks are available on Amazon.com.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check it out, especially your poetry.
Oh yes, I love poetry. Yeah, I love it. That's one. I actually want to open my own little poetry session with like teas and coffee one day.
Okay, that'd be
A
really
little coffee
nice.
chat. Yeah.
Give it a whole vibe. That is something else. Well, thank you so much for being on my podcast show.
Yes, I really I've been waiting for a long time. It's like I can't wait to come on. I was so excited.
Yes, I was excited to even just talk to you.
Yes.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you so much for letting me come on and just to come talk to your audience. And I just thank God for your platform. I know it's going to go very far, like Oprah.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate your kind words.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in.